What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. What we're doing today, it's the Epstein Files, right? Basically, we're watching CoffeeZilla's video on the Epstein Files. He wants to bury the Epstein Files. Look, I just find it so funny, right? We moved from him saying, like, I think Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton, or Bill, was it Bill, is on the list, and then like he's gonna release it. Like, it's so funny, the time events, and now it's like people are stupid. Well, no, they're treating people like they're stupid, and it's so funny because, like, what are we doing? Why are we making up the list? The last information I remember, now the Democrats made the list, and I'm like, I thought there wasn't a list. But anyway, we're gonna just watch CoffeeZilla's video on.
The president of the United States is trying to cover the Epstein story. It's the double down right here on Truth Social. A big post saying that actually it's the Democrats who wrote the Epstein Files.
And there wasn't an Epstein file the last time, right? I thought there wasn't. Bro, this is just so funny. And I don't even think I don't think they think the people are stupid. They just know the people are too powerless to do anything. And that's why just never let this shit die. Just always bring it up. It just
this is just after Elon Musk, who worked with Trump for many months, said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein Files. That's the real reason they have not been made public.
And like, didn't he ever run on this too? Like, wasn't one of the promises to release the Epstein Files? Like, what are we doing?
Obviously, we've already seen deflections from the president about Epstein, saying that it's a disgrace to talk about him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? It just seems like a desecration.
But today,
right? And it's so funny too, because they keep using the current tragedies that are happening to deflect from the Epstein Files. It's like the Texas flooding happened. Oh yeah, this happened. Why are we still talking about it? Because the Epstein file is still important. Why can't we care about two things at the same time? You get what I'm saying? It's not like one of them is more, well, I would say one of them is more relevant than the other, but that doesn't mean the other one isn't relevant. People still want to know, because there are people that did horrible shit to kids, and those people should definitely be prosecuted. So when Elon Musk said, like, oh, he's on it, I have to, like, kind of believe him, but you know, you still need evidence for that shit. But
it goes a step further. Quick context. There's been a lot of infighting in the Republican Party over basically who's at fault for the giant botch of the Epstein Files, with the majority of Republicans not wanting to believe that Trump himself was against a full release, but rather that he was sort of tricked into not releasing the Epstein Files by one of his lackeys. But today, Donald Trump came out and basically backed Pam Bondi, saying they're all going after Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Democrats who conned the world with the Russia hoax? They created the Epstein Files just like they created the fake.
It's such a deflection. You see, first it wasn't, there's no Epstein file, you never had a file, and now Democrats written the file. If the Democrats written the file, then show the files and let the people determine what happened. Why is he trying to deflect? Like, he's deflecting, and he's deflecting badly. He's just digging a deeper hole. He's not getting out of it at all. He's just making it worse.
Hillary Clinton steal dossier. Now, this is such a smoke.
And if Hillary Clinton why would she even have her old husband in it? You get what I'm saying? These are the things that I don't think anybody's they're not thinking about it. They're just talking, hoping people will just believe them. Like his cult will just believe him. Again, I'm not against anybody. I'm not even from the US, but the Epstein Files is just something. They were interesting, right? Yeah, America is such an interesting place to like, let me see, the politics and everything. It's like a TV show that it's a real life TV show for me. This is just another episode of America. That's what I call this TV show.
Screen and a deflection. This is not a left versus right issue. Epstein never has been. It's the people versus the predators, not left versus right. The people versus the pedophiles. The people versus the people on planes. There ain't no left versus right here. In fact,
I'm sorry, this has nothing to do, but you see how he just blocked out the word pedophile? Why can't people just do that instead of saying not the word? You get what I'm saying? It's so annoying. I respect
Some
that.
of the people who want this the most are people on the right, even on Truth Social. Obviously, a hugely Trump-favored place. Everybody is saying, no, this is unacceptable. You have to release the files. Later in the post, Trump also says that these are radical left-inspired documents and to not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that knows.
Like, if they're radical left inspired, then why don't you release them? Why don't you release them? It's because it has evidence that it's not radical left. Because you probably see people from the left and from the right. As he said, it's the people versus the predators. It's not a right left versus right issue.
Nobody cares about. But actually, we all do care about it. You know who doesn't actually want this out? The elites. That's why they've never done it. That's why it was a compelling pitch when Donald Trump hinted to his base that maybe he was going to release the files. People largely didn't trust the job that Biden had done. That's why it was a compelling story. So the idea now that it was Biden and Obama who invented the Epstein files is absolutely preposterous.
Absolutely.
They don't want that out either. And maybe that's because, as a producer of 60 Minutes alleged, Ghislaine Maxwell implied that there were tapes on Trump and also tapes on Clinton. You know who else said it? Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, saying Epstein said, what I know about both candidates, the 2016 election would have to be canceled. So this whole idea that this is a left or right thing, it's not. It's the elites. Anybody who was on that plane, anybody who was associated with Epstein, seen with Epstein, even if they did nothing wrong, they don't want that out. Everyone who wasn't seen with Epstein, wasn't on that plane, of course they all want.
Because like, if you just think about it, that's really the only the reason why neither party released it. Because I don't know when he was exactly caught, but I know it's like years ago, right? And in that time, the U.S. has changed presidents at least 2-3 times already. So it's been Democrats and Republicans in party, and neither side has released the list, right? So obviously it's because like people from each side are on the list and they don't want that out. So it's not a left and right issue. It's the thing, elites versus the predators. The people who were on the plane versus the people who want to know who were on the plane or island or whatever. The people want justice and y'all not gonna get that shit.
The files out. And what's interesting is obviously the Trump administration has sort of played footsie with this idea for a long time, playing to their base. They know this is a big issue. They had the influencers stand out there with a bunch of released material, but we also showed clips of Donald Trump implying that maybe Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew were doing bad things.
And that didn't he have a settlement with the girl who was on the island and was trying to sue? It's like, a settlement doesn't mean you're guilty, but if you're paying a bunch of money to not take this in court, that looks kind of shady. You get what I'm saying? It's like you don't want certain information to get out, hence why let's just throw money at it. I wish we should just throw money at things I don't like. Bitch, I'll throw money at everybody.
On the island.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
So consistently, Trump has hinted that maybe these guys were involved with Epstein, maybe it was bad. But turns out all these guys knew each other and knew Epstein. We know this in part from a Piers Morgan interview where he talks to a lady who went to a dinner party with Trump, Clinton, Epstein, and Prince Andrew.
Extraordinary collection of very high-powered
the whole trifecta
people. How did they all interact with Epstein? How did Trump, Clinton, and Prince Andrew interact with him?
Everyone was very, very pally with him. You know, it was like there was close bonds. You could see that.
So these guys,
and that's the thing too. Like he he literally said Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton, right? Now, if there's no Epstein list, as per say Donald Trump, doesn't he owe those people an apology at least? Like, isn't what he said technically defamation because there's no list? So why were we name dropping people? You get what I'm saying? Why would the name
each other,
dropped?
apparently had dinner parties together, all of them together. Trump later accuses two of the guys of doing bad things. And then when we release the files, can we release the files? Well, no, actually, no, we can't do that.
There's
Nobody
no
cares
files,
about that.
right?
The reason why seems obvious. Epstein knew Prince Andrew. Yes, he knew Bill Clinton. Yes. But he also knew Donald Trump.
He was buddy-buddy with Donald Trump. Don't we have a video of our article of something with him saying like, oh, Epstein loves girls, especially the younger variety? I was like, bro, what? What?
And recently, tapes were released of Epstein talking and calling Donald Trump his closest friend.
Of course.
So how do you know this?
Donald's closest friend.
So it makes intuitive sense to distance yourself from files that may or may not have your name in it, and even distance yourself from the people involved. It's worth stating Trump actually denied knowing Prince Andrew.
I don't know Prince Andrew.
Of course, this was immediately debunked by photos showing the two together. And of course, showing that they clearly knew each other as of 2000. Now, the reason you would deny knowing Prince Andrew, even though you did, is obvious.
He's such a bad liar, bro. What? Like, in this day and age, how can you be such a bad liar? Oh my god. It's so stupid.
Time he was facing allegations related to Epstein. By the way, allegations that now are basically over. Prince Andrew is very happy about us dropping the Epstein probe. A source for The Sun said he's only been abroad once since the scandal erupted. Prince Andrew has always been very nervous about going abroad and always looking over his shoulder, as he should.
Why do you think that would change? No, wait, sorry. Why did you think that would change? Do you think because someone said, oh, there's no Epstein file that they're dropping, do you think that freed you from the settlement that you paid out, obviously, to the girl? People know that you paid out that settlement to the girl. That happened. Even if they said, oh, the Epstein files aren't real, which definitely probably are. You still did that. We know that. Everybody knows that. Why would you still not expect civil action? Don't attack people, by the way. That's it. You'll probably go to jail, especially since he's a prince. I don't even know why we have monarchs in this day and age.
Be in my opinion, but now he's very happy because the guy who never met him but was photographed with him in 2000 just ended the investigation. Now, I have to say, Trump's been pretty consistent on the fact he has no interest in releasing the Epstein files in full.
After he got elected, by the way, because I'm pretty sure he ran on that full transparency bullshit.
He said this multiple times. The reason most people have sort of a false memory of this, the reason it's sort of a Mandela effect that he campaigned on the idea of releasing the Epstein files is because Fox News released a deceptively edited clip where they cut out the part where he said, yeah, I'll probably release the Epstein files. And they cut out the part where then he backtracks on that completely.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
And that's the part most of us saw. Of course, later, people found out that the full clip showed him saying basically the opposite.
Yes, I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
We also have Bill O'Reilly on News Nation saying...
I get that. I get that, but, like, don't you have, like, the FBI and the CIA? You have some of the, like, best intelligent networks in the world. Can't you what do you call it, that word I'm looking for, separate phony stuff from real stuff? If there's real victims, can't you block their names out? People don't care about the victims, right? We just care about who were the perpetrators. We all like have an idea. It's rich famous people, because how did Epstein even get that much money? Obviously he don't like
he just talked to Trump back on St. Patrick's Day, and Trump basically said the same thing.
He said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct. They maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that.
So over and over, we've seen the same answer from the president. Not the fact that, oh no, the Epstein files, it's a lefty conspiracy. No, actually, it's the worry that people in the files are going to have their lives destroyed by...
And now there's no files. Sorry. Now the files were made by the left. You see how the story just keeps changing? And when a story keeps changing, obviously, someone's lying. Somebody is lying. If it, like in a court of law, we would obviously see like, oh, this person is quite literally bullshitting us. Because if a story changed more than once, if you cannot stick to a consistent story, then your story is false. I don't give a fuck if you want to have false memories, or maybe you misheard. If you misremembered it, your first story is lie, and I have to take everything you say with a grain of salt.
The files. That sounds a lot more like covering for the people in the files than it does covering the victims. We've heard Kash Patel and Pam Bondi talk about, oh, we gotta protect the victims.
Go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims.
We're not gonna re-victimize women. We're not gonna put that back out there.
But when we actually hear the president talk about it, and the real reason, right, because he's ultimately the decision maker on whether this gets released, what the real reason is cited is not about victims. It is about the people, the names in the thing. So I find it disgusting. They're using the victims of Epstein as a shield for the people who are actually in these files. Now,
you know, actually, you never hear Trump saying he wanted to protect the victims. He wanted to make sure the people that are accused don't get like the false information. He wants to make sure the predators aren't victimized. He doesn't want the victims to have closure. It's so fucking weird. It's so fucking wrong.
of course, who specifically is he worried about? Well, maybe it's his friends, maybe it's people he has dinner parties with, and of course, maybe it's him, Donald Trump, that he's worried about. The journalist Michael Wolff actually quotes Steve Bannon as saying Jeffrey Epstein was really feared in 2016 for what he knew.
I was there, and it was that moment, and Bannon said to Epstein, and he said this in a good humor. He said during the campaign, it would be the 2016 campaign, you, meaning Jeffrey Epstein, were the only person I was afraid of.
So that is 3 independent sources. You've got the Ira Rosen quote, the Michael Wolff quote, and that Mark Epstein quote, all saying that there is some type of damaging information on Trump. 2 of those people.
And you see what I mean? The story never changed. Like 3 different sources say the same fucking thing. You know what that means? They're probably telling the truth. One man changed the story 3 times. Who the fuck is lying? I don't think it's the 3 sources, unless they all colluded together.
People specifically implying that it's also on Clinton as well. You also have the Elon Musk allegation from left field, but he doesn't source anybody, so we won't count that. Facts. Either way, I must say, I don't know for sure if Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump were heavily involved in anything nefarious or not. That is exactly why we should all demand that we open these files. But the possibility of both Democrats and Republicans being implicated in some of these files, whether they did it or not, or just knew him, may give a plausible reason for why the Epstein files have been heavily redacted this whole time. There are very powerful people involved. We've known that. The reason we've been given, of course, is that, you know, we've got to protect the victims. The real reason behind the scenes is
we got to protect the predators.
Is really they're protecting the powerful people. Now, the most charitable interpretation is, as Bill O'Reilly said, it's because those people would have their lives ruined. They had nothing to do with Epstein, but we know some of them probably did. We know this from the Miami.
And the thing is, like, why should we even care about the rich and famous, right? Rich. They're probably, maybe they're famous. Why should we care about the rich having their lives ruined? Like, example, Prince Andrew. He was like the one of the facing things that he got through that whole lawsuit and everything. Isn't that man still rich? What he maybe he lost credibility. Whatever, no one fucking cares. He's still rich. He could go low profile and he could still live his entire life comfortably. His life was never ruined. Release the files, bro. Like, stop lying.
Herald, because the FBI agents who searched Epstein's house found a cache of thick black binders all labeled with names that contained hundreds of naked or semi-naked photographs on CDs that Epstein stored in various places. The labels on the binders were redacted from photos because prosecutors said they were names of third parties who were not relevant to the case they are mounting against Ghislaine Maxwell. So my question is, are those some of the third parties? Their names are on binders with a bunch of explicit photographs that Epstein was storing? That seems like something we should be investigating. Or what about the fact that since the FBI is saying there's no blackmail involved with Jeffrey Epstein, we investigate the Wall Street Journal report that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to extort Bill Gates over an extramarital affair? Because I thought there was no blackmail involved. And my real plea to people is to not allow comments like this, these statements about partisan politics, to trick you into thinking this is some type of left versus right issue. That is the Trump play right now. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a disaster. I think it's very stupid. I think people on the right are just as interested as people on the left. I think this is a universal issue, as it should be. If there are predators in the highest offices in the land, be they Democrat or Republican, we want to know about it.
You gotta get them out, bro. Because like, why do you have such people in power? Why do you have such powerful people in power and they're, well, basically doing things that would get a normal person locked up forever? You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's not even like, money will get you out of everything. It's so annoying. Forget Epstein. Go back to dividing on every issue. There's nothing to unite about. Exactly. This isn't a left, or this is an elite versus the rest of us. This is a cult calling tactic. This is a loyalty test who will fall in line. Bro, I swear to you, this is one of the greatest shit shows I've ever seen. February files on the decks. June, they don't exist. July, they're fake. Right? Right? And he cannot stick to one story. The gaslight, he's such a bad gaslighter. But anyway, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I don't fucking know. This is usually not something I would talk about, but like, it's been on my feed. It is something I'm interested in because I've been following it for a while. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Like, this is his third time saying this after. Like, hey, this is the last time talking about it. New video drop. Hey, this is the last time new video drop. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.